Finished reading the Plated Prisoner series by Raven Kennedy, and this is my review. Now, there will be some spoilers in this one, so if you have not read it and don't want like any spoilers, I'll try to keep super major things out, but there might be some. This series is 6 books. I think the first 2 books should have been put together as 1 book. They're both really small and would have matched the size of the other books too. I do think the series was a little bit too long. Some things were a little bit repetitive. So the first book, Gild, I did not think that I was going to like it when I first started reading it because the opening was smut and I don't think that's a bad thing. But I was like, whoa, okay. And then that led me to think that the whole thing was going to be about like what they called royal saddles. And I was like, I don't really want to read a whole series about this specifically. But it did turn around, and by the end, I was super hooked. A quote that I loved from the FMC Oren in the first book: "No one sees me for anything but the metallic glimmer of my skin. No one looks past the pure gold threads of my hair. Aside from the whites of my eyes and teeth, I'm just a golden statue to everyone. A fixture to be seen and not heard. A commodity to be bought for a night." And that's when I started understanding her a little bit more and feeling for her and knowing her feelings about things. So I started to appreciate her a bit more. So in the second book, Glint, Oren, the FMC, starts to have more growth and realizations, which I can see why people would say that it probably took her too long to realize these things, but she was locked in a cage for many years and had no friends, so she didn't really have anyone to discuss this with. And while she's like a captive that is allowed to be free in the 4th kingdom, as they're traveling towards 5th kingdom, she is able to talk with more people and she gets to know them and she's not locked away. She just has more freedom. And that's when she's starting to realize these things, and she's like, oh, like I'm okay if I'm not locked in a cage. But she always thought that's what she needed because she was manipulated. So I really like that she had that growth. But I think because of that and how short they were, I think that these 2 books could have been put together for sure. Now, Gleam is the 3rd book. This is probably my favorite book in the series. So Oren finally starts to stand up for herself. She's back with King Midas after being with the 4th kingdom. So now they're in the 5th kingdom, but Midas is the king of 6th. So she starts to stand up for herself, and Midas basically fights back against it. He shows his true colors, and like we saw it, but now she's finally seeing it for herself. The banter between Oren and Rip started in book 2. It was definitely getting a lot better in book 3. One of my favorite moments from book 3. So she says, "I told you to prove it to me, and yet you sat there at a table and you were a king." He sucks in a breath, like he's trying to pull in my truth, trying to taste it, understand it. I turn to look at him, ribbons dropping to my feet, chin lifted, my expression unyielding, pretty promises in private, in the end caring king in public. I shake my head, letting him see the disappointed look on my face. I've been down that road before, Slade. I won't do it again. I asked you to prove it, and you didn't. He expels a breath and turns away, shoving a hand through his thick black hair. So this moment was when he finally realized he messed up with Oren, that she was starting to gain interest in him, and I was like, he's finally realizing and he messed up. In this book, Midas also cuts off Oren's ribbons, and that was very emotional. I was so sad for her. He drugs her so that she like barely remembers it as she's drugged and is like covering up the pain. So Oren's power is that she has the gold touch. But once the sun goes down, her power goes dormant. But in this one, she gains a new power that she can control all the gold even when the sun is down. So she discovers this new power and kills Midas. And then that's the end of this book. Glow is the 4th book in the series, and This one is a lot slower than the previous books. There's a lot more character development with this book, especially with Slade as we get to know him more. We also get to know the Wrath more and Slade's brother. This book could have kind of been omitted or at least condensed and things put into the other books because this was kind of long and some of the things were a little bit unnecessary. And starting in Glow, we start to get more perspective from Queen Melina and we get to know her a lot more in Gold, the 5th book. So Queen Melina, we see her as super cold-hearted. She's called the Cold Queen. She's not very pleasant. She's kind of rude. She expects only the best pleasantries for herself. And when she goes to a safe house and it's like run down, she's like, what the heck? Like, I'm a royal. She's very unlikable. But she starts to have a big redemption arc through the end of this book and then until the middle of the last book. And I did start to really like her. But one thing, I do think that she didn't really need a love story. I feel like everyone was kind of just getting a love story like Oz and Rissa. Although I did really like Oz and Rissa. I like their banter. Yeah, I just think that everyone kind of got a similar-ish type love story and it wasn't always necessary. One thing that I really did enjoy about Gold was that when she was falling through the rip in the realm that Slade made so that she could escape, the words got like, she was falling, and the ink on the page. And when she landed and saw that people were around her and they start to speak to her and this moment happens, a tear falls down her cheek, even as a smile tugs at her thin lips. It means it's all right, Lady Orin, because you're home. And I definitely got goosebumps during that moment. I loved it. And I was very excited that we got to go back to the Fae realm. But when she is in Anwin, I feel like she's not like yearning for Slade as he yearns for her. And she always just kind of says, I'm looking for someone, but only a few times, whereas Slade is going and avenging her for all the wrong that has happened to her. So in the 6th book, Goldfinch, we lose Melina because she sacrifices herself, and it was pretty emotional, but I feel like I didn't have enough chance to get attached to Melina, so I was like, damn, that sucks. Honestly, eventually, once they got together officially in the 3rd book, I feel like the romance started to fall off for me, especially by the 6th book. I absolutely hated that he called her baby. That's just a big no for me. I hated the spice scenes. I thought they were cringe, and also the overuse of swearing from every male character in the book when they got together with someone. It was like just copy and paste basically. Like not every man swears excessively, so it would like give them a little bit more individualism, please. And so they like the mating bond or pair bond in this book finally clicked between Orin and Slade, and I hated that moment when they finally got together. They were like teenagers on drugs and needed to be alone and were like we need to do it right now. And I was like, okay, this is really cringe and you're in the middle of a war, like stop. I feel like that whole part could have just been taken out. I did not like it. I also think that Cole, Slade's father, was kind of a fail for an antagonist. Like he was kind of just there. We learned that he was not that great throughout the previous books, but he just like shows up, or I guess they show up at his place, and Slade got this hidden family power of being able to summon a dragon, and then his father is trying to take the dragon from him. I feel like the dragon was really out of place, especially because we didn't learn about it sooner. It felt like it was kind of just thrown in there, and that's why Cole was suddenly a bad guy because he's trying to kill Slade to take his dragon. I did not like the memory loss trope in this book, especially once she got reunited with Slade. It was kind of like, oh, I remember you again. And it would have been better if she fought the earworms a little bit better and just got rid of it beforehand. So overall for the series, I actually do kind of think that I would have preferred if it remained single POV from just Orin, because like the first book, I did like that it was just Orin's POV. I feel like the series is very much about her growth, and in the end, like, she doesn't take the queen seat as she's supposed to, which is different compared to other books that I've read. And it goes back to that she lost her individualism. She wants to find herself. She wants to experience life and be a little bit selfish, which is okay. But having all those POVs, eventually it got too many, because we had Oz, we had Riot, we had Queen Melina, and Slade, and Orin, and we had Emily. It was getting a bit too much. And I feel like there was a heavy inspo from Throne of Glass that was trying to get all these characters to reconvene together, but they were like already together at a point and split up, and then we're trying to get back together. So I feel like it just didn't hit the same, and it wasn't like as extensive of a mission to get back together. But yeah, I did not enjoy the spice at all in these books. They made just the baby, like, I do not like. If you like it, that's okay. That's your thing. But this was not for me. I was really hoping to have another 5-star series that I love, but I did enjoy it, but I don't think it hit hard enough to be a 5-star for me.